If all farmers were to adopt your machines, what would a smog-free Delhi look like?
Of course, it'll be really nice to see our solution scale to such an extent.
What it is that your company really does?
Our company's name is Takachar, and what we develop are smaller scale portable machines to process agricultural waste. Also at the same time helps in improving crop yields.
How bad is the situation on the ground with farmers burning the crops?
Yeah, so I was in the field last week, and just around our site, just within a radius of say 1 kilometers, there were at least 15 farm fires happening on one
Burning simultaneously.
It's much more than what's there, what's reported out.
Do the farmers there, do the locals not realize?
Farmers operate on a very thin margin. Right. And anything to do with handling residues, if they have to spend extra money on it, it's a disincentive because burning is free.
Remains that have already been collected, that is being processed in your machines, and then you give various avenues to put it in the soil, as you were mentioning, into fertilizer.
We process about 10,000 tons of paddy straw a year. Mix biochar with farmyard manure. And farmers have seen on average an increase in crop yield of about 10%. So from a climate change perspective, it is essentially a carbon removal solution.
Hello and welcome to the Sandeep Unitan Show, your weekly dose of defense, geopolitics and much, much more. Today on the topic of much, much more, we're talking about air pollution. This is a problem that affects us all here, particularly in the metros and particularly in New Delhi, which is one of the most polluted cities in the world. Why is that happening? Well, one of the reasons for that is crop residue burning. We have states around Delhi which burn crop residue that creates smog affecting men, women and children in Delhi and of course the states where they are burnt. Now I'm happy to have with me on my show today a young innovator who might have the solutions for crop residue burning. That's Vidyut Mohan. He's an award-winning innovator from Delhi. Vidyut, welcome to my show.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you here, Vidyut. I've been reading and following your work for many years now. Tell us about what it is that your company really does to abate this problem of farm fires.
Right. So our company's name is Takachar, and what we develop are smaller scale portable machines that can be latched behind tractors and taken to farms or be directly deployed in villages to process agricultural waste like rice straws, cotton stalks, etc. into something called biochar, which is essentially a carbon-rich material which when added back to the soil helps in sequestering carbon in the soil for hundreds of years, while also at the same time helps in improving crop yields.
Right. So you work on the field primarily, in this case, literally the field. But you have a unit in Punjab?
Yes. So we have now a kind of like a demo unit in Punjab where actually 3 of our machines are operating. Sort of a demo village, if you can call it, where we process about 10,000 tons per year of crop residues, primarily paddy straw. And that is converted to biochar, and then it utilizes the locally available paddy straw and it converts it into biochar, and it is distributed to farmers in and around the area who use it as a partial substitute to chemical fertilizer.
Right. So how bad is the situation really there? Since, you're there on ground zero and you see it on a daily basis, how bad is the situation on the ground with farmers burning the crops?
Yeah, so I was in the field last week, and just around our site, just within a radius of say 1 kilometers, there were at least 15 farm fires happening on one
simultaneously.
On one particular day, yes, burning simultaneously, and that day I remember the smoke was so much that our team could not basically be there on the site. It was becoming very, very difficult to breathe. So we had to leave the site. And there was one incidence of the farm fire actually reaching all the way till the wall of our production facility and almost like, from the neighboring farm. So it also became sort of like a difficult situation from a kind of like a damage to our own system's point of view. So it was quite bad. Then when we traveled in the evening through Punjab and some parts of Haryana in the train back to Delhi, we saw a lot of farm fires as well.
Right. So and this peaks usually
it peaks in the evening. Generally it's much more than what's reported out in the media and the government did.
The numbers that we get,
it's much more, but it is reducing. It is also true that it is reducing, but it's much more than what is being reported.
We're hearing that the numbers are going down by 90%. Like 2025 has far less, instances of crop burning than in 2024. Is that a fact?
It is less. It is getting lesser, but I'm not sure if the 90% number is true or not. It'll be hard to comment on, but I am pretty sure it's more than what's being reported in actual numbers.
Right. So do the farmers there, do the locals not realize that when they burn this crop residue there, it affects them, it affects the people in the village there, it affects towns and cities in Punjab itself than it does probably in Delhi. Delhi, of course, it's 30% of the pollution mix?
Yeah, I mean, earlier it has gone up close to 50%, but now, I guess with the reduction in farm fires over the years, it can typically go up to say 30% during the peak burning months, or maybe even higher, right? But I mean, it was quite bad within the farm area where we were operating. That is bang in the middle of where the rice wheat system is grown, and I mean, the plumes of smoke were coming all around where we were based, right? And it was getting very, very challenging, just air quality wise for us to operate.
Right.
And probably, I personally felt that I had a much difficult time in terms of just handling the air and kind of like just like being able to breathe properly then on the same day or evening being in Delhi.
Right. It was worse there than it was
because we had farm fires all around us.
Of course. But don't the locals get it? The fact that what they're doing is harmful for their health? They get it. They know it.
Yeah. But I think this is a complex problem that has, I guess, a lot of contributing factors to it.
Yeah.
Just the pattern of cultivation is fundamental to it.
Right.
And also, I mean, agriculture not being a very rewarding sector. I mean, farmers operate on a very thin margin.
Right.
Right. And anything to do with handling residues, if they have to spend extra money on it, it's a disincentive because burning is free. And they're not to blame, essentially, because, I mean, it's a source of livelihood, and with such thin margins in agriculture, they are going to do what they can to earn their livelihood. So what needs to be done is to create create value creation opportunities from this biomass, scale that as much as possible, so that the biomass can be taken out from the fields at no cost to them, or sometimes even paying them quickly, right? And can be then utilized in those value creation opportunities. There are various opportunities like biochar is one, biogas is one, power generation is one.
There are various avenues.
There is various avenues to do that.
Right.
So the methods to collect the straw already exist.
Right.
The government has provided subsidies to procure various straw collection equipment like balers, etc.
Yeah. Are those working? We hear a lot about them.
Yeah, so there are a lot of entrepreneurs in these villages that own them. But what happens is that they don't end up operating them unless someone contracts them out to supply them the straw.
Right.
So, for example, we set up our production site in this village, and we discovered that there were a few balers there, right? And some of them who didn't receive a contract to supply the bales never operated their equipment because they've received it on subsidy.
Right.
They've hardly paid a significant amount, right? So they're essentially not in a rush to operate it, because there is an operation cost involved. And many a times these people have burned their hands by collecting the biomass, but no one's there to buy it. So you'll also see many places within Punjab where these bales are collected, but it's like sitting and rotting. Right, because no one's there to utilize it. So because of these reasons, they don't end up operating it. The moment we came, they themselves came and they said that, okay, we have these equipment, and if you are interested in a supply contract, we're happy to explore. So then we kind of contracted the supply of bales through local village supplier in the village, and then we collected all the biomass for our work. So, I mean, solutions like these need to scale at a very, very decentralized level. So right now, a lot of large-scale centralized projects are happening, which are able to collect biomass within a certain radius, but they're not able to take beyond that because transporting biomass is expensive, right? So you cannot centralize projects too much, because then you'll be left with pockets in between where it will be very cost inefficient to supply the biomass in such large quantities so far away. So you need to have a mix and match of these larger scale centralized projects, which are essentially these CBG plants, compressed biogas plants, or large thermal power plants, along with smaller scale decentralized projects that utilize this biomass.
So where you come in, Vidyut, is that your machines actually process the straw that is already collected, the rice remains that have already been collected, that is being processed in your machines, and then you give various avenues to put it in the soil, as you were mentioning, into fertilizer, and can be converted into carbon, some kind of energy source as well.
So essentially, our machine converts biomass like paddy straw into something called biochar. And biochar is particularly paddy straw based biochar, because of its inherent properties, is very beneficial to the soil. We typically just mix biochar with farmyard manure and add it back to the soil. And farmers have seen an consistent increase in crop yields. And first year, of course, we give it at no cost or a subsidized cost to the farmer. They try it, and then they come back for a repeat purchase. So that has that evidence we have consistently seen. And also at the same time, that biochar sequesters carbon in the soil for hundreds to thousands of the years. So from a climate change perspective, it is essentially a carbon removal solution that is easily scalable in India because of the vast quantities of agricultural waste available in the country.
So how do the engineer from Delhi get into this, solving India's farm fires problem?
I mean, so I have always been deeply passionate about how renewable energies and climate technologies can be used to create value for underserved rural communities. And have been really passionate about decentralized applications of such technology. And I got interested in biomass development during my master's thesis, and wanted to see how one of the topics being researched in our lab, which is essentially biochar production from agricultural waste, and how can that be applied to India, and how can that be used to create doorstep livelihood opportunities for rural communities. Because I saw a lot of multi-dimensional impact through the usage of agricultural waste, livelihood opportunities within villages, carbon sequestration, and improvement in soil health and crop yields. So it started from there. It started from a livelihood lens. But then, of course, I mean, since we're utilizing the biomass in the equipment, the co-benefit is also air pollution prevention. And
so unintended benefit.
And it's something that I guess the air pollution aspect of this became highlighted from 2015, 2016,
when farm fires became more
or when rampant data started to emerge more out of the air quality data. Before that, no one used to, I mean, the general public didn't even know what was the air quality. It was never measured, like tracked in public.
Right.
But then I think one of the I guess great smogs of, I don't remember the exact year, 2015 or 2016, where it became really, really bad. Just after Diwali. That's when I think eyes opened, people started measuring the air quality, and that's when awareness started.
That's when the awareness began. But Vidyut, walk us through your machine. What is the Takachar's portable device? How does it work, and how did you come to invent it? And how many machines have you made so far?
Right. So our equipment is called the Takavator. It is a piece of machinery that's meant to be deployed in a decentralized manner, and can also be and versions of it can also be moved around from one place to another to go as close as possible to where the biomass is being generated.
How big is the machine now?
The machine can easily fit in a tractor trailer. So it's compact and small, and it's meant to process biomass in situ as much as possible to minimize the movement of biomass over long distances, which is a significant cost in any biomass value creation process. And we felt that was what was kind of hindering the scale up productive utilization of biomass, right? So this machine essentially goes to these farms, forests, villages to process various kinds of agricultural waste into biochar. And our product is this machine. So we sell these equipment to entrepreneurs who run local decentralized biochar businesses.
Right. And your technology, for instance, it claims to slash smoke emissions by 90% while helping farmers earn 40% more from waste. So can you give us a real life story from Punjab of a farmer who's actually benefited from this innovation?
Right. So, I mean, we have created our sort of like a demonstration village in Punjab.
Which district is it?
This is in Fatehabad. This is actually in Haryana, but our site is about 200 meters from the border of Punjab.
Oh, you're bang on the border.
Bang on the border. So this is in Fatehabad district of Haryana, where we process about 10,000 tons of paddy straw a year. And the biomass is all collected locally. So the local entrepreneur from the village who already has baling equipment collects the biomass and supplies it to us. People from the village, about 34 people from the village work at our site. About half of them are women, and the biomass is converted into biochar, and then the biochar is distributed to farmers as a soil amendment and as a fertilizer to farmers in and around the area. And based on the studies that we have done till now, farmers have seen on average an increase in crop yield of about 10% on average versus the baseline. And the straw is collected free of cost from the farmer, right? And it is collected and it is collected quickly because we start processing it quickly, right? So the important thing for the farmer is that the straw should not be costing more for them than burning the straw, and should be collected quickly before they have to sow wheat. So and that's directly related to how quickly the value creator, in this case us, is able to start processing them. So that's really important.
So, if, like farmers, you said yourself that they face very tight harvest windows and high machinery costs. So what's the biggest hurdle you faced while getting people to adopt this, the Takachar machine at scale in, say, states like Punjab?
I think biochar as such is a new concept within India. Biogas, is an industry that has been there for many decades. Biochar is a very new concept in India. The biochar industry started gaining attention after carbon removal. The carbon removal as a sector started forming. Predominantly after COP26, right? And carbon markets around biochar started forming. That's what started accelerating the biochar space. And now it's a fast-growing market within India. And we see the demand for this picking up across various agricultural I guess, value chains with various kinds of agricultural waste in the country, like paddy straw, cotton stalks, sugarcane bagasse. All of these are value chains in which stubble burning happens, or some kind of biomass burning happens.
So, pollution directly affects us here in the metros as well. And a lot of it has to do with the paddy straw burning. And we've seen, 30% spikes in this in the sowing months, harvest and sowing months, September to December.
Yeah, predominantly mid-September to early December.
And the governments, of course, they've poured billions of rupees into anti-burning measures and, incentives to satellite monitoring. But enforcement is key, as you were saying, that you saw so many fires around your facility. What kind of policy changes do you recommend in, better straw markets or carbon credits to incentivize this for not just Punjab, but for all other states that are wrestling with this problem?
I think if you look at the studies, I think it's very, very clear that ex-situ solutions, which is essentially solutions in which the straw is quickly taken out from the farmer's field. Some value is being created from it, and the straw is prevented from burning. So that solves the farmer's key pain points. One is the farmer doesn't have to spend any extra money on handling the straw on their field, and secondly, it's taken out from the field quickly if the value creator is diligent enough to absorb it. Right. So I think in situ solutions, which are also important, have scaled to a substantial extent, which is basically taking the straw, leaving it back in the soil, and letting it be there, and essentially mixing it back into the soil. So that's what significantly led to a decrease in stubble burning instances also over the years. Right. But then a lot of attention now needs to go in scaling ex-situ solutions, which include solutions like CBG plants, which are the government already has a strong policy around it. But now biochar is an upcoming very big space where a lot of activity is happening all around the world, including India. And it is, since India has one of the largest reservoirs of waste biomass, this is an opportunity that the government needs to pay attention to, because it has various benefits. Carbon sequestration on a very durable and measurable level. Right? You can actually measure the actual amount of carbon being sequestered, because you can measure that in the machine. Right. Then also air pollution prevention, and then also improvement in soil health and crop yields for farmers. The government should focus on creating some incentives for some of these upcoming ex-situ solutions, so that they're competitive against the baseline. So, for example, for biochar, we are competing against chemical fertilizers, which are subsidized by the government. So we are already, we are not at the same.
There's no level playing field.
There's no level playing field. So it'll be helpful to, for this solution to scale, if a similar subsidy is available for farmers to use this
biochar,
for example, and it will drastically help scale, help address the stubble burning problem. Because a lot of entrepreneurs will come forward. The moment they see government support in this through a level playing field, which is important, but also at the same time other revenue sources like carbon credits for the sequestration of biochar and the physical sale of the biochar product as well.
So you have to basically create that biochar economy, is what you're saying, and you have to incentivize the product, and of course, and not currently they're working on various levels, and this could be one more avenue of reducing.
This can dovetail into a lot of government existing schemes, such as the Gobardhan schemes, or the subsidy that the government is already providing for fermented organic manure for CBG plants. It could also be applied to biochar. So there's nothing new to be thought out. But existing schemes can absorb this and expand in scope.
Absolutely. And you've taken your machines abroad as well.
Yes, so this is designed in India equipment we manufacture in India, and
all of it is Indian You hold the IP, all the the parts are Indian, everything is
It's
Indian.
completely manufactured in India, and of course we own the IP. And this is then, of course, sold in India, but also exported to other biochar project developers and companies abroad.
Where, for instance?
So the areas that we are currently selling to are US, Canada, East Africa, and Southeast Asian countries like Philippines and Thailand.
The US has the same problem as us.
US has a very not a problem of crop residue burning,
Right.
but forest fires,
Right.
essentially, and it's a very big problem, particularly in the Pacific Northwest. There is a lot of urgency to find out, okay, what can we do with a lot of the biomass that catches fire and causes forest fires,
Right.
and of course, it's predominantly from a loss of property and life point of view, from the prevention of that. But
Right.
there are times when the forest fires also cause like severe air pollution as well.
Right.
So that is the application in that part of the world.
In the US. Very interesting, Vidyut. And finally, if all farmers were to adopt your machines, what would a smog-free Delhi look like? Would it be substantially lower with farm fires being a thing of the past, do you think?
Right. I mean, of course, it'll be really nice to see our solution scale to such an extent that it addresses the problem completely. But we need all solutions. It has
Right.
to be a mix of all solutions, because the problem is so huge.
Air pollution, the problem for air pollution.
The crop residue burning problem,
Right.
Despite it going down, is huge. And a lot of it goes undetected through partial burning of biomass and burning at night and etc. So we need all kinds of solutions to play a role. And if this problem is solved, of course, during these months from September to December, up to, the numbers vary, but up to 30, 35, 40% of the contribution during a few weeks,
Right.
particularly, it'll go away, right? But then, of course, there are other contributing factors within Delhi,
Right.
which are much bigger than stubble burning. Even stubble burning, the number 30% is not consistent like throughout. The contribution of 30% is not 30% throughout September to December. It's during few peak weeks where it reaches that number.
Right. Absolutely. And so Vidyut, also tell us how the Earthshot prize came about. In 2021, you were awarded the Earthshot prize, which we're being told is the equivalent of the Green Oscar
Yes.
for the environment.
Yeah, we are grateful that we were nominated for the Earthshot prize by one of our funders, and we applied, and through a very thorough and rigorous and long application process, we ended up winning the Earthshot prize, which really helped gain our solution a lot of attention, but more importantly, help bring the stubble burning, help highlight the stubble burning problem at a worldwide level.
Right.
So that definitely helped in garnering more resources to solve this problem on an international scale, but also at the same time, the resources that we got, both in terms of the award money, but also at the same time, the soft support in terms of the network and connections and other things, we were able to develop our solution. So ours is so these machines are very difficult to build and design. What we make, it takes a lot of iteration and a lot of prototyping to come up with something that is reliable and is able to work in outside conditions and dust, heat, rain, etc., operating on the farm. So it really helped us and gave us the time and space to develop this solution before we could bring it to the market.
Absolutely fascinating insights there, Vidyut. And I can only hope that your innovation and innovators like you get more attention, because this is a Indian problem and we need Indian solutions to fix this. Thank you very much for your time and for your thoughts.
Thanks so much for having me, Sandeep.